Be a part of the best pro wrestling podcast today by supporting the Going In Raw Patreon. You can enjoy access to the live taping of the show, exclusive merchandise, and patron-only episodes, and so much more. Support Going In Raw today. Click the link in the description.
This is Charlotte, and you're watching Going In Raw. That sounds terrible.
What's up? This is the most must-see WWE superstar of all time and his lovely, gorgeous wife,
Marie.
and you are going in Raw.
What's up? It's your girl, Sasha Banks, the legit boss, and you are watching Going In Raw.
Oh, baby, I like it raw. Oh, baby, I like it raw. And you are tuned in to Going In Raw right now. How you doing?
Hey, friendo, Steve here.
And Larson.
And welcome to Going In Raw reviews of old stuff.
Yeah, we still haven't named it.
Nah, man, look, I love our friendo community. The Going In Raw community is great. Kind of came up short on all the name suggestions.
Pay per review.
Yeah, Going In Raw View. Going In Raw View. Well, look, you know what we're going to do? We'll just do this. Once we've got like 4 of these in the can, we'll create a playlist and we'll just put them there.
Good idea.
Whatever. What can you do, really? Anyways, this week we're going to look at WWF Invasion.
Yeah.
Now,
Highly, what's the right word I'm looking for? Polarizing? Do anybody actually like this pay-per-view? So I guess not, it wouldn't be polarizing.
okay, I think here's the thing. The unanimous
The consensus is that
The consensus
the
is that-
storyline wasn't very good.
Yeah, the consensus is that, my God, this was not actually WCW versus WWF
No,
the way it should have been.
WCW and ECW.
I
versus
know, but you
WWF.
know what I mean. Like, the consensus is if you don't have Flair, Hogan,
Sting.
if you don't have those 3 guys,
Hall and Nash.
Hall and Nash, the NWO. If you don't have them, it's not. Is it really Invasion? Is it really? I mean, really, is it?
We'll get to it later, but I feel like there's probably, based on how the story played out, how they felt like they had to do it. Mm-hmm. Really, only 2 names were really missing in my estimation. Let's say regardless. The backstory, I guess, of this is that initially the huge feud for that summer of 2001, from my understanding, was going to be Austin and Triple H.
Yes.
The breakup of the 2-man power trip.
Yeah.
Triple H tore his quad.
Yeah.
And so they couldn't do that story.
Right.
So they pushed this to do it earlier than they probably wanted to, before a lot of the contracts for a lot of major names in WCW had expired, because I guess based on the language of the contracts or something, they could sit at home and just get paid out the remainder of their deals.
Yeah.
Rather than wrestle.
Yeah. Now,
whereas some people's contracts were included with the purchase, right?
well, so I know Booker T and I don't think they. Well, yeah, I think some were. I think guys like Palumbo, Stasiak, I think those guys. But guys like Booker T and Diamond Dallas Page, I read, both had theirs bought out for significantly less. Like they took a lot less money to be in the WWF. All the other big names sat out their contracts. The funny thing was there really wasn't that much time left on those contracts. The most it was Goldberg. Goldberg's was the latest. I know he showed up. Actually, Goldberg ended up in Japan in August of 2002. Apparently he got injured at like something in April of 2002, but he was able to wrestle in August 2002. In terms of the big names,
You mean WWF?
in WWF?
Okay.
That was the latest any of their big names were still under contract or not injured. I don't know when the contract actually ended, but everybody else. Sting said that he was actually penciled in for WrestleMania 17, which was like, wasn't that the one right after they bought WCW? Because 18 was the one that had a bunch of WCW.
Yeah.
So he was penciled in for 17. Hogan, Hall, and Nash showed up in February 2002, which is only about 6 months after Invasion. Flair showed up right after Invasion. Steiner's Time Warner contract, you found out, expired November 2001. That was a couple months after Invasion.
4.
So here's the thing. I think this is the thing. Number one, this is still, to this day, the most bought non-WrestleMania ever. Still, 770,000 buys. That's more than WrestleMania 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
The crowd was electric.
The crowd was really into it.
And I'll say, by and large, most of the wrestlers were into it.
I'm going to position my chair.
Okay.
There. Yeah, no, look, the wrestlers did everything they could. They were really into it. Look, there's a lot of bright spots here, or I'll put it this way. There are some bright spots here, but I think when you frame it as, was this really the fan experience? Was this really the true blow-off to the Monday Night Wars that it could have been, that it should have been?
You mean this whole storyline?
Yes.
Yeah.
Was it really what it could have been? The answer is a resounding no.
No,
it's an absolute no.
I will say this show, I've heard about it. I didn't see it when it originally aired. I knew the storyline wasn't terribly popular. A lot of people thought it sucked. Mm-hmm. So my expectations going into this show were pretty low. I enjoyed myself. I enjoyed the show.
Yeah.
It was an enjoyable 3-hour show.
Yeah, the thing is, like, it's fine. Well, okay, we'll talk about it.
I mean, like, there's
a referee match.
I know, but it was 3 minutes long.
Oh, so it's just so, like, when you're like, it's Invasion, it's WCW. You have to take the broader storyline as you have to take this within the broader context of the storyline.
No, I understand that.
But the poster of this had Vince McMahon and Shane McMahon.
Yeah, there's too much McMahon in this whole thing.
Way too much McMahon.
I agree. It was unnecessary to have that much McMahon.
But here's the thing. Here's the bottom line on it. You can't really criticize WWE too much for it, because the bottom line is it did really, really well, and the names probably would have been way too expensive to get at the time. Now, if they had waited them out on their contracts and tried to give them like a reasonable contract, maybe they could have. Another thing to consider also is that WWF was really starting to bleed viewers at this point. The Stone Cold Steve Austin heel turn
didn't work out so well.
Was horrible for them. It was horrible for them. With WCW, you have to imagine also, with them putting WCW out of business, how many of those fans were WCW guys that might have happened to also watch WWF? And so when WCW went away, they're not automatically going to change the channel to WWF.
I know.
Especially when they see their favorite guys being kind of, you could say, disrespected in a way. Mm-hmm. And so they probably just left wrestling altogether.
Could be.
Like, I think that's a distinct possibility. And so, like, after this period, like around this time, ratings really started to go down.
Yeah.
Like, after this pay-per-view, ratings really started to go down. And, you know, things have never been the same. Like, from the Attitude Era, they have never been the same.
Before we get into this, I'm going to go back to the statement I made about how this pay-per-view and this storyline was constructed. Assuming that they had to start this program when they did. They couldn't have waited for whatever reasons, business reasons, whatever. In my estimation, there's really only 2 names missing from the WCW roster that would have made a serious impact, that would have made sense based on how the storyline was constructed. Because, Sting would have been great, but since the Alliance were the heel faction, I mean, do you want to have Sting come in as a heel?
Why you wouldn't have.
Same with Goldberg.
I know. That's why you wouldn't have had them as a heel faction. But who are the 2 names you're talking about?
Steiner.
Okay.
And Flair.
Okay.
Those would, especially if Flair showed up right afterwards.
Yeah.
That seems, because they could both easily play heels.
Yeah.
Are really good at it.
Yeah.
They would have fit in to the whole storyline really well.
One of the problems was they were the heel faction.
Yes.
That was, and I have not, I imagine, I don't know this for sure, but it wouldn't surprise me at all if one of our friends over at What Culture, probably Blampied, probably did one of those how the invasion should have happened. We talked to our friend when we did a video with Adi Shankar. He's a big wrestling guy, and he was telling us, he was the one who was like, yeah, dude, NWO was available only a couple months later. And I was like, oh man, you're right. So, okay, let's assume they had to have done it at the time that they did it. Flair seemed to have been available.
Yeah.
But even that, there was a way there was way too much. Let's go through this match by match.
Hold on one second.
And once we have that all in perspective.
Are you going to talk about the star power of the Alliance side? Is that what you're going to talk about? Because I think we went back before we started shooting anything today. You mentioned an old WCW pay-per-view called Mayhem.
Yeah.
That was after New Blood Rising, the one we did last week. And we went down the card. And at that point, the WCW roster in terms of the stars that were around during the prime period of the Monday Night Wars were pretty much gone.
Yeah. I mean, Hogan had been run off by Vince Russo.
Yeah.
So there was that.
There was for WCW there was Booker T, there was Goldberg, there was Steiner, and Nash.
Luger.
There was Nash, and that of the top main event guys.
Yeah.
Those are the only ones that were still around.
Wait, what are those again? Name them
Booker
again?
T, Steiner, Goldberg, and Nash.
Yeah, I know, but okay. Here's the thing, though. They brought Flair in, so Flair could have been there.
Yeah.
They brought Flair. Here's the thing.
Oh, DDP. Sorry, DDP
And
was
DDP.
there too. Sorry.
WCW was known as it was Hogan, Hall, and Nash, Flair, Sting, Goldberg. I mean Steiner, but really it was those were the big six. You can throw Booker T and Steiner in there, but even they.
You mentioned DDP.
I would actually put DDP on the same level as Booker T, to be honest with you. There's there's the six big names, and then there's the three sort of beneath them: Booker T, DDP, and Steiner. But those big names, who were the ones that defected, or Flair was around forever. Sting was the franchise, so he's sort of in Flair territory. I think those are the big names. None of them were there.
Yeah.
So you're relying on Booker T, Lance Storm, DDP, and then you got a bunch of young guys. Like I think Kidman, they could have had Kidman and Mysterio be really, really strong young pieces. Instead, they only had Kidman. Mysterio didn't show up for a little while.
Yeah.
So it's just when you think of WWF versus WCW.
Well, that's the point I was getting at, is that a lot of the stars that were there in 97, 98 just weren't around.
Because they weren't around, but largely because of WCW issues. Yeah. Not because, you get Vince McMahon in there, hey, come on over, we're going to do this thing. Be part of WCW, but on my terms, it's going to be good. I think they could have been convinced. That's my point.
I don't know. There's a lot of people that didn't accept buyouts for their contracts, so apparently they weren't convinced.
Well, okay, they weren't convinced monetarily speaking, but if they would have just held off for 6 months, I mean, if your assumption is right that they had a gun to their head and they had to do that storyline, then of course you work with the hand you're dealt. But my God, why couldn't they have done a really slow burn somehow?
Oh, I agree. I'm approaching this show with the situation we were given.
Oh,
that's what I'm going to do.
No
right
way,
now.
man. I'm going to criticize.
I'm going to appreciate the show based on what it is.
If they were planning on doing Stone Cold Triple H for months after this, then they would have been in territory where they could have been signing up.
And that was,
these
like
guys.
I said, that was the original idea.
Oh, that's terrible. Why wouldn't they have waited though? That's crazy.
I don't know.
Put him in a program with somebody else.
Kurt Angle.
Yeah, because here's the problem: is that towards the end of this, you had Kurt Angle going over to WCW. Why? Austin went to WCW at the end of this pay-per-view.
Because he didn't feel appreciated by Vince.
Right. How appreciated did he feel in WCW? He literally went to ECW to whine about the way he was fired in WCW. So why would he have any allegiance to WCW? You're taking guys from WWF and you're putting them in there because they don't have any star power. It didn't make any sense.
No, I know.
It was so silly. But let's go ahead and just we'll talk about the hand we were dealt. It had a very impressive opening video package. I've got my notes here. Very impressive opening video package featuring the parallels between the invasion storyline and World War II. You had Franklin Delano Roosevelt giving a very impassioned speech to the American people, and that was somehow supposed to relate to what was happening with the invasion territory, or with the invasion storyline. What are your thoughts on that? I'm very curious. Probably not an apt comparison. Invasion storyline in World War II. So less said about that, the better. Lance Storm and Mike Awesome came out as a tag team. Here is my first point of contention. Lance Storm should have been paired up with one person, like Edge.
I know, on a one-on-one match?
Yeah.
I thought
No.
What?
No, you know what it should have been? Should have been Lance Storm, Chris Jericho. They had a history together.
They do. They were used to be tag teams.
That would have been
tag team.
They were the Thrillers.
Thrill Seekers.
Thrill Seekers. There you go. Because Lance Storm is a fan. Look, I like Mike Awesome. I thought he was fine, but Lance Storm, we're big Lance Storm fans.
Yeah,
and I think that to spotlight him would have been smart. To put him in a tag team, not as smart.
I think they mentioned during the show that Lance Storm and Mike Awesome, if not being tag team partners at the end of WCW, had been tag team partners before.
Well, they were fighting in that amazing Canadian match that
I
saw for New Blood Rising.
Maybe they patched things up, formed an alliance after that.
I mean, it was WCW. Anything can happen.
Exactly.
My question is, where was Jacques Rougeau?
I know.
Should have been part of that.
Exactly. But given the
why
match,
was this tag team match not wrestled under Canadian rules, Larson?
Because it's not WCW and they don't make up rules like that.
Well, I think probably because this Invasion pay-per-view did not take place in Canada. That's the actual answer. Anyways, they fought, speaking of Canadians, Edge and Christian.
Good match.
Edge was such a baby. He looked like a little baby Edge.
But it was a fun match.
Christian looked pretty much the same as he always has.
Yes.
No, look, it was a fun match. You have Lance Storm, Edge, and Christian. They're all going to put in. Mike Awesome's a good wrestler.
Yeah.
He was really, for a big man his size.
He was pretty agile.
He was pretty agile. Yeah, he was good. Did you see that one spot where Lance Storm ate shit from the outside?
Yeah.
Mike Awesome was supposed to at least brace his blow a little bit.
Yeah, it seemed like Lance Storm landed on his head or face or both.
Yeah, Mike Awesome kind of made things worse a little bit. It was kind of like, I don't think he meant to, but he was sort of in the wrong place to catch him, and Lance Storm went a little further than he thought he was. It was not good.
I'm sure stuff comes at you fast when you're in the wrestling ring.
I'm sure life does come at you fast. Mike Awesome delivered a Rainmaker. Did you see that?
Yes.
That was amazing.
Yes.
That was fantastic. Did you scream Rainmaker?
No, it was late.
Yeah, I was
and I
like
didn't
here
want to make
too.
any noise.
Yeah, me too. I sort of chuckled.
Internally, I did.
chuckled and said it.
Internally, I said Rainmaker.
I said Rainmaker. Make sure I didn't wake up anybody with my little chuckling. Who went over that match? Edge and Christian?
Yeah. There was a spot where Mike Awesome had Edge up, ready for an awesome bomb.
Mm-hmm.
Christian runs in, spears him, and then Edge gets the pin or gets the cover and the pin.
Yeah. Cut to Vince McMahon in his office. Or in the green ready room, wherever he was.
No, I think it's supposed to be his office.
There was like a couch there. A lot of couch action here.
Yeah.
No, because there were like refreshments in the same office.
Well, Vince, as the CEO, owner of WWF, can't have refreshments in his office.
I just feel like he had a lot of people in and out of there. I don't think that was his office. I think that was his his office. His office is in Connecticut.
I understand that, but he sets. I would think they've established this in other WWE programs that at every show, the commissioner, GM, owner, whatever has an office.
Oh, right. Oh, gotcha. Good thing. Regal comes in. This is a bugaboo of mine, man. He has his shirt tucked in to his trunks.
What did his shirt say on it?
Well, okay. For one thing, it wasn't just any ordinary merch shirt.
It was a polo shirt, a gray polo shirt.
It was a gray polo, very corporate shirt with embroidered WWF logo.
No, it said WWF commissioner on it.
Well, he was the WWF commissioner.
He was.
Have you noticed that Regal has never aged? He has always looked around his mid-40s. He still does to this day.
No, he looks decidedly older than he did then.
No.
Yeah, he does.
No.
Part of it is because I think he's thinner now than he was then.
That is true.
So that's part of it.
But that just makes him look thinner, not older.
No, that's not true.
He looks the same. I shook his hand.
You didn't shake his hand in 2001.
He looked me in the eye.
Did you? Did you shake his hand in 2001? To get
no, not in 2001.
So I don't see how you shaking his hand would make you think, oh, he looks the exact
I saw
same.
him up close today and now.
But you didn't see him up close in 2001. That's my point.
On the TV.
Oh, it's not the same.
He looks the exact same, dude. Looks the exact same. Anyways, so he has some words for Vince McMahon. I forget what it was. Something like
Vince was doing some really over-the-top celebrating.
Oh, my gosh. I know.
No subtlety.
Doing great. And Vince had like his pants hiked up really high, and he had like the 70s big collar shirt, sort of unbuttoned, one button too low, and like the biggest shoulder pads in his jacket you'd ever see in your life. Big pompadour hair. It was just full Vince. Way too much Vince. I feel like that was too much.
That was
Vince.
all the Vince.
That was way too much Vince.
So let's talk about this next match.
Yeah, it was a referee match. Nick Patrick versus Earl Hebner. This was stupid.
Yeah, it was a bad idea.
This was stupid.
It wasn't a good idea.
Oh, my gosh. This was the opposite of a good idea.
I will appreciate the fact that those refs took a couple decent bumps, though.
No, I know they did.
So
I
good for
actually
them.
appreciated that. This was awful.
They at least had enough sense to keep it short.
Yeah, I know. But it's WWF versus WCW and ECW. Hey, one thing to point out, though, nobody was missing from ECW save for Shane Douglas, which is kind of interesting because he was contract with WCW. They could have brought him in. Every damn ECW. Wait, there was no Tommy Dreamer.
Not then, but he
Not
showed up
then.
later.
He showed up later.
Yeah, maybe he was hurt or something. I don't know.
Everybody else was there. They were well represented. Anyways, yeah, ref match,
I
garbage.
I like that Nick Patrick is typecast as mean ref because he was the NWO ref.
Oh, I know. Yeah, he was totally corrupt ref. Like,
Yeah.
I like that video package where he was like, what was the deal? Yay or nay, white WCW ref shirts.
I kind of feel like a ref shirt needs to have the stripes.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, man. I say yay.
I mean, just in terms of
Reminded me of Japan.
aesthetic appeal.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, we put it that way.
Yeah, man. Put some red
it's-
shoes on that Nick Patrick. You got
It's-
yourself a
it's-
ref.
It's a handsome looking shirt.
It is. I want one. I want one of those shirts. I'd wear the crap out of
Can
a
you-
white WCW polo.
Can we find some of those and get embroidered the Going in Raw shield?
Yes. And then we can be special guest ref when we put the H title up.
There you go.
That'd be good. We decide who wins it. Next up, in Vince's office or the green room, we had pre-Michelle McCool take her wife talking to
Oh, that looked like
Angry
it,
Deborah.
that was at catering because there was coffee machines back
It was
there.
in the same place. It had the same paint on the wall. So anyways, Deborah was very mad.
Sarah, that was her name,
Yeah, Sarah.
and she called the Undertaker Mark.
Yeah, I noticed that too, because he's like a big fan of the product. He's such a mark. Anyways, yeah, she kind of looked like Michelle McCool. A
little bit.
But older. So, like, Undertaker upgrade. That's messed up. I hope she's doing well, whoever that lady is. Sarah, that's right. DDP, the object of his affection. It's weird. Before I saw the invasion thing, because I remember I was watching back when this was going on.
Yeah, I was just not.
I remember her being a brunette and looking way different.
Oh no! Once I saw her, it's like, oh, that's the Undertaker's wife.
Yeah, no. I remember hers looking way different.
Really?
Yeah. Weird, right?
Yeah, it is weird.
My head is not right. So anyways, Deborah was very upset.
You know what was funny is
About what
I remember watching a lot of stuff. I remember watching the Nitro when Shane showed up and bought it.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah.
I remember that
vividly.
And I remember stuff here and there. Like they ran an ad for Tough Enough the first season during this. I was like, oh, I remember watching that show.
Yeah.
But there's like this pay per view I hadn't watched before. There's
Oh,
whole chunks of stuff that
interesting.
I never watched.
Oh, wow. It's great, huh? Having all that filled in.
It really is.
It's fantastic. Oh, man. This was great, too. They showed a bunch of video footage of the APA talking to, like, the most jobberist people in the entire WWF. They were rallying the troops, but they were talking to Haku, who looked like literally had this look on his face like he had no idea what was going on and could care less. Super baby R-Truth. Oh my goodness. What was he, like 15 there? And then literally a bunch of people I had no idea who they were. I'm pretty sure some of them were
Hardcore
writers.
Holly was in there.
Oh, and then there was that one, hardcore. He was there?
Yeah.
Because then he was also at WWF.
Yeah, well, the stuff with APA
book signing?
wasn't happening at the arena. That was all flashbacks. Whereas the thing with Hardcore Holly was supposed to be happening
In real time.
in real time at that moment.
That's right. So anyways, the APA were like rallying the troops, but they were rallying all the wrong people. The entire thread of the show was Vince McMahon rallying the troops, but then APA were rallying people who were not wrestling on the show. So they had there was no reason to rally them. You're just wasting energy.
Locker room morale.
They're not doing anything. What morale do they need?
Well, if they're put in a position where they can do something,
Always be ready. That's what
Yes.
you're saying. Always
Yes.
be prepared.
Yes.
APA, always be
so
prepared.
that they're motivated when their opportunity comes to defend the honor of WWF.
All protection agency. I
Yeah.
mean, all preparedness agency.
Yes.
Okay, good. Anyways, I mentioned this in one of our other episodes this week. Those WWF tag titles that the APA,
Great.
they looked fantastic.
Great belts.
They were up there in terms of like, they looked like they were a piece of history. They were like the IWGP titles. They look like a piece of history. I really wish Bradshaw would treat the title like Naito treats the Intercontinental IWGP title. Just throws it around.
Bend it all up.
Just
Throw it at the ring post.
Fantastic. I love Naito.
Yeah, he's great.
Oh, man. Let's see here. Anyways.
Next, we had Sean O'Hare and Chuck Palumbo take on the APA.
That's right. Sean O'Hare was a stud.
Yeah, he was.
That dude was good.
Yeah, he was.
He was really good, man. Yeah, I watched this. I was always afraid that APA were just going to work stiff with
Well, Bradshaw always worked stiff.
Who is this? O'Hare and Palumbo?
Yeah.
Palumbo? Palumbo.
Bradshaw always worked stiff.
Yeah, he did.
Whenever he gave someone a punch to the back,
Yeah.
it was literally his whole forearm.
Oh, I know.
Not
You
quite
can
full
hear it.
force,
You
but
can
pretty
hear
much
it
full force
slam.
on his opponent's back.
Pretty rough.
Yeah.
Bradshaw.
So APA went over. Bradshaw hit a clothesline from hell on Palumbo, I believe.
Right. Okay, that sounds right. So they won. What did you think of the name Inaugural Brawl?
It's a bit of a mouthful.
Doesn't exactly roll off the tongue.
And also, seems like there supposed to be more of them. Like this is just the first.
Yeah. You think Vince wasn't thinking? Oh yeah,
Every
we'll
year.
have an invasion every year.
Well, the idea initially was that WCW was going to stay its own brand if they could buy TV, if WWF could buy TV time for it, or find TV time for it, but no one wanted to have WCW on TV
Nobody
anymore.
wanted that trash, dude.
So,
I wonder if there was
this is what we got.
if there was ever the thought that they could reestablish WCW with their big names. I would guess not, because like it wasn't until 2002, like literally, that he called up Hall and Nash and Hogan and was like, "Hey, let's do some stuff." So
and by that point, this whole storyline had ended.
completely done. Yeah, weird. Anyways,
Yeah, it's unfortunate the timing didn't work out.
I
have
know,
everybody there.
I know.
It's a bummer.
It was just a massive dream match. It'd been great. Y2J was great.
It's interesting to see how different his delivery is now versus what it was then.
Well, everything about him was faster back then.
Yeah, but also but it wasn't like he spoke louder. He spoke more softly. It felt like.
Yeah. No,
It was
he
different.
did.
It
Yeah,
was interesting.
He just had a different energy.
Yeah.
He's got a more mellow energy now, and it's still there. Like all the passion's still there. It's just these days with Jericho, it's such a conglomeration of so many iterations of him that it's just a completely different beast.
Yeah.
Like he's got the rock star thing from back then and the wit from back then, but that's pretty much it. Like he takes a lot from the 2009 run where he did the slow speaking thing. Yeah.
But he's constantly adding new things.
Yeah, I know. Anyways, but he was a rock star. Like even back then, man, he came out, the people popped huge.
Yep.
That music was just off the hook amazing.
Yeah.
And he was so comfortable at that point in the WWF because he had been there for 2 years, I think. So that was fantastic.
Yeah. It's amazing how many of the theme songs that were written during the Attitude Era are still being used.
Yeah.
And then when Stone Cold, following the main event, I actually paid attention to his song. It's like, this isn't his original version of his theme. It's the one with the lyrics.
This is the Slipknot version.
Oh, is that who did it?
Yeah. I'll be honest with you. I really liked it.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I even liked it back then. Because the Slipknot dudes, his vocals, and you can take them or leave them. I know a lot of I don't know a lot of them, but the Slipknot fans I know really love Slipknot.
Yeah.
They've got a very passionate fan base.
Yeah, they do.
And the dude's voice is quite unique.
Yeah.
It is cadence. And it kind of works with his music. Like they got the right band to do it. I don't know. I kind of dug it, to be honest with you. Let's see here. Oh yeah, so I think that was Y2J hyping up, or he was telling Vince that he needs to be careful of Paul Heyman.
Yeah.
That's what he needs to do.
Yeah.
He's calling him, and a couple times they referred to Paul Heyman as bovine-esque. That's like a cow.
Yeah, I know what it
He
is.
was a large man, large and in charge.
Oh, it's Disturbed.
Oh, it's Disturbed. Okay, my bad. Disturbed. I don't know any feverish Disturbed fans, but they're what?
This pay-per-view was the last time that song was used.
What a bummer. But he used it for less than a year. Look at that.
Yeah.
Wow. Glass Shatters by Disturbed. What to kill? Sounds like Slipknot. Maybe they know
No,
each
when
other.
you started singing like that, it's like, that sounds like Disturbed to me.
Really? You know that? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Because they're the Down with the Sickness band, right?
Yes, you're right. Okay. Yeah.
So when you started singing
Okay,
like
so
that,
I got
so-
them confused. All right. I like that my impression is what spurred you to look that up. Well done. So now anybody in the comments that already said Slipknot, delete it.
Yeah.
Delete.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Next, we had another backstage segment with Stephanie, Shane, and Billy Kidman. They were trying to get him motivated.
Yeah.
And then Paul Heyman comes in.
Is this when did this start off with Stephanie yelling at the TV about Chris Jericho?
Yeah.
I hate Chris Jericho. She
Yeah.
was so over the top. She
Oh,
had to
yes.
dial it down just a little bit. I wasn't huge on the idea of her being ECW.
No,
owner.
it should have just been Heyman.
Should have just been Heyman. Should have just been Heyman. Like maybe have Stephanie be the owner of WCW if you really want to.
If the timing had worked out for everything, it'd been kind of neat if they had not just done WWE versus the Alliance, have WWE versus WCW versus ECW.
That is exactly what I was thinking. Is you do WCW versus WWF, you don't make it heel versus face, you have it company versus company, but then you have the ECW invasion happen amongst all of it. So it's just this big, like, sort of, you could work some really interesting threads there, you know, because there are certain guys who have allegiances to several organizations.
And bring up, the history a lot of these wrestlers have with all those promotions.
And what is Paul Heyman? He is, like they said, he is like a maniacal genius, and he could be pulling a lot of strings.
Yeah.
That could have been fascinating.
Yeah, it really could have been.
Instead, we got this. I mean, I think what I notice you're understanding right now is the potentialities that did not come into play.
No, I always appreciated what didn't come into play, what could have been. I'm just saying, all right, based on what we were given, based on what WWF thought their time frame was, I'm trying to find a middle ground.
Yeah, I know.
Where this storyline as presented could have been improved.
Yeah.
Without wholesale changes.
Yeah. Let's see here. Then we had, oh my God. Then they were back there with Billy Kidman, who, again, in it's kind of the awkward way, man. Certain guys just. They weren't cut out to be heels.
Yeah.
Billy Kidman was not a heel. People it was so funny, dude. There were a couple of acquisitions that people really popped for. Billy Kidman was one of them. People really wanted to see Billy Kidman because he was one of the standout guys in WCW that sort of never got his rewards.
Yeah.
Incidentally, where was like Benoit and Guerrero at the time?
I don't know.
Where was Dean Malenko at the time?
I don't know.
A little weird, isn't it? It's oddball. Where was Perry Saturn at the time?
He was in one of the backstage things with APA.
Okay, all right. I'm sure there's a reason why Benoit and Guerrero weren't there, but it's kind of odd. Kidman did have a big butt. I noticed that. With his not ripped jorts. And I think even in later days WCW, he would wear longer, cleaner shorts. Mm-hmm. Like he just cleaned up, and he wore the A shirt or whatever. But with tights on, he's kind of a big butt. Did you notice that?
No, I didn't.
You didn't look at his butt?
No.
Odd. Weird.
What, that I didn't?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, I mean, I'm sure during the course of the match, I looked at his butt. It was
probably in view.
Yeah, but I didn't notice whether it was large or not. That's what I'm trying to say.
He had a big booty. It's okay.
Didn't notice.
It's not a knock.
No, I know.
Anyway, maybe it's why he couldn't get up there for that moonsault a couple times.
Shooting star press, Steve.
I always get confused between 450, moonsault, and shooting star.
All right. 450 is one where you spin.
You go front ways?
Yeah, rotation in a quarter.
Moonsault, you look backwards and you go backwards.
Yeah, moonsault, you start backwards, you go.
Yeah.
Flip over backwards. Shooting star press, you start forward, but flip backwards.
That's really hard to do, as evidenced by Billy Kidman, who really couldn't pull it off all that great.
Yes.
People, were you surprised by how much people hated X-Pac?
No, because I'm familiar with the term X-Pac heat, but I was very surprised how much the commentators talked about the fact that no one liked X-Pac. They said this is a largely WWE favoring crowd,
Yeah.
but maybe that will mitigate the X-Pac sucks chance that you'll hear.
No,
it didn't at all.
They were firmly in Billy Kidman's territory,
Yes.
in his camp.
Very much so.
They needed a Sheamus type guy to get take some of the heat off X-Pac. What did you think of listening to his theme song again? I had totally forgot about that theme song.
Didn't he have another one? His solo, for
there was
DX.
the D-Generation solo variation.
Yeah.
X-Pac.
Yeah. But I remember Uncle Cracker did an X-Pac theme. I didn't remember which one. I couldn't remember which one it was.
Because this was the X-Factor.
X-Factor theme because Albert used it when he came out later in the night.
I got everything I ever wanted. I just remember we just literally looked up the lyrics before we went on camera. But in my head, it was always just X-Pac. I had no idea what they said. Now I know that it's bad. It sucks. But I was like, what? I don't get how anybody ever thought that was an acceptable wrestler's theme song. Let alone the guy that literally has Go Away Heat named after him.
Yeah, I know.
Let's saddle him with the worst. And the funny thing is, I got everything I ever wanted. I'm going to get that back. Oh, I know you hate X-Factor, but you don't have to look at me like that. I say you ain't have to look at me like that. That's like the most X-Pac lyrics I've ever heard in my life. Here's the thing about X-Pac, too, is that he was tremendous in the ring.
Yeah, he was still really
good.
He
could put on a really good match.
Yeah.
It's just, and you look at him sometimes when the crowd starts chanting X-Pac sucks, and he's got kind of like a bemused look on his face.
Yeah,
like,
he doesn't seem irritated by it.
No, he doesn't seem irritated by it, but he also doesn't seem like he understands what he's doing wrong.
Yeah.
To warrant it.
Yeah.
It was all the facial stuff.
It was just everything.
It was that crap.
Everything was just a bit too much.
Yeah. He just dialed it up. He dialed himself up way too much.
And what I know is since he wasn't in DX anymore and he couldn't throw up 2 sweets, he didn't know what to do with his hands. Did you notice that?
Yeah. He would do this.
Yeah.
He would come out like this.
Yeah.
And then he'd do this a little bit.
Yeah.
But he wouldn't really crotch chop, I don't think.
But I think he still did this kind of stuff too, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Just, I know you're trying to rev up the crowd. You're just making them mad that they're seeing it.
I know.
And then
maybe what it was is they wanted to see him too sweet and crotch chop, but he couldn't do it because he's not in DX.
And then
DX apparently didn't exist at this point.
Dude, they basked him in pinkish light. It wasn't even purple light. It was pinkish light. That nobody want, like, you're not, that's not doing anybody any favors unless you're like, I'm sorry, but for the time, like a woman's competitor. Like, then it's okay. But man, you can't bask like a male competitor in pink light and think that the people are going to be cool with that.
I thought it was purple.
I think they wanted it to be purple, but man, it looked pink.
Were you watching it on a TV and just like your picture settings aren't?
I'm telling you, man.
Because I saw it and it looked purple.
WWF.
Because X-Factor's a color scheme and their video package was purple, I thought.
No, I get that, but it was like there was pink. I swear it was like pink. I mean, I know that looks purple, but man, that's pink. Look at that. There's definite pink in there. Look at that. Tell me what is that? There's like when you lighten up purple, that shit is pink. Look at that. Like, but still look. What is that font?
Yeah, it's not a good font.
Anyways, is that?
We're getting off base. Let's get back to the match.
Is this like a singing competition show? That's what it looks like. Is this a dating show? This looks like a dating show. And he was good in the ring.
Yeah, he was still pretty good.
Look at Albert.
Albert moved around pretty well back then.
Weird that he didn't have a neck though. He can't. Yeah, he doesn't have a neck. Look at that. It just goes chin.
Wasn't
to
there
shoulder.
a third member of X-Factor, or was it just the two of them?
This. Just Incredible.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
Until he defected to Team ECW. I believe they mentioned that.
Yeah, I bet he was happy about that. Oh boy. All this like imagine going from I got everything I ever wanted to extreme
championship wrestling.
That's the best. That is the best. Anyways,
so yeah, Kidman won.
Kidman won, yeah. That was
X-Pac
cool.
went for the Bronco Buster. Kidman got his foot up.
Yeah.
Kicked X-Pac square in the groin.
Yeah.
So X-Pac didn't rip his butt. The Bronco Buster. We shouldn't laugh about that.
No, we shouldn't. That probably sucks.
That probably really sucks.
I'm sorry. I'll put it this way. If I'm sitting here mid-show, live stream, 1,000 people are watching, right? And I move the chair oddly.
And you rip your butt.
And I say, and you say, what's wrong? I ripped my butthole. You have full permission to laugh.
Well, I think
you have permission to laugh. Everybody has permission to laugh.
I think my first instinct would be is such a
it's shocking.
It's a shocking thing for you to say, and the word butthole is funny. That I would laugh until I realized the severity of the situation, that you had in fact ripped your anus. At which point, on the chair, at which point I would be like, okay, we have to get this taken care of.
The thing that's so interesting to me, as somebody who's never ripped his asshole before, is that he knew exactly what had happened as soon as it happened. There was no I don't know, something, because I would just be confused, but he was like, I ripped my butt.
Well, what happened, because we watched the video, is he goes for the Bronco Buster, whoever is about to take it moves, and like the turnbuckle pad had moved. So I'm guessing the actual turnbuckle was exposed. You know, there's a little kind of, there's a joint there.
Yeah.
And I'm guessing that his butt got caught on that joint.
Yeah.
And when he slid across it with the impact, that it tore his butt.
Yeah.
That's speculation on my part.
Immediately
I'm not a
told the ref.
doctor. I have not seen a medical report, but that's just speculation.
Ripped my butthole. Oh man. So what happened next? Was this the Tory Wilson?
No, that came after this. DDP, Paul Heyman, Shane, and Stephanie backstage.
Oh God, them again.
Yeah, a lot of pep talks.
Yeah, okay, pep talks. Oh, that was one question I had. So we've heard a lot over the years through shoot interviews and whatnot that Paul Heyman was a master at the motivational speech prior to
Yes.
shows, and that's how he got people to perform, understanding they were going to get stiffed on being paid probably. I wonder if he had any sort of similar motivational speech, or if at this point it was just like, hey guys, we're all getting paid, so you got that going for you. I wonder if he had any of his great, crazy motivational speeches.
I don't know.
I have no idea.
I have
don't
no
know.
idea.
I don't know what that situation would be like. So then was this Stacy and Tori?
Yeah.
This was
It really
horrible.
was. It was not good.
This was really bad. So they had a bra and panties match coming up. And look, we like boo-boos. We like the booties and all that kind of stuff, But it's just when it's this fake, it just kills it. It kills it. We're going to, like, well, I don't even forget what we were talking about. Like, Tori Wilson started talking about her boo-boos, and Stacy Keibler started talking about how great her butt is, and that they were going to, like, try to bang the Hardy Boys after the match. They're like, we're going to give them a private show. It literally, like, when you're sitting there watching Antenna TV late at night and you see those one night 100 numbers,
Yeah.
it was exactly like that.
Kind of was, yeah.
They were so, like, there was nothing convincing about what they were doing. And something tells me Vince wrote that.
Oh, yeah.
Anyways.
Next.
We had Vince trying to...
we had Raven versus William Regal.
Oh, my God, that's right. Raven, dude, how did he just become old all of a sudden?
The facial hair was part of it.
Yeah. Man, he looked old.
He did.
His face had, like, sunken in.
Mm-hmm.
What did he do? Like, he was the only guy who left WCW when Eric Bischoff had that meeting and said, if anybody's unhappy here, you can go.
Yeah.
I forgot what he did after, if he went straight to WWF or not.
I don't remember, but he holds the record for the most hardcore title reigns.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Like 27.
So had he been around WWF before the invasion happened?
Let me check.
I want to say yes.
I feel like yes. 2000.
Oh, no kidding. Okay, so he had been around. Okay.
Because he left in WCW in 99.
Okay.
Went back to ECW for a bit.
Oh, I remember that.
Until ECW folded.
I remember that. Okay. Yeah. So it was interesting. I read a review of the pay-per-view in general, and it's interesting. The one note I saw, I think it was like a 411 Mania review. I think it was that, and he said Raven and Regal seemed like they were each trying to wrestle a different style of match.
Yeah, it felt that way.
And it totally felt that way. Regal
really
was
did.
trying to do his, like, sort of old school bruiserweight thing.
Yeah.
And Raven was trying to do something else.
Yeah, this was the one match where it felt like most of the matches for the whole show, it felt like the competitors were into. They were trying to, show a certain level of intensity that fit the storyline of the entire show, except for this match.
Yeah. Yeah, it was awkward.
Yeah.
I mean, the thing is, neither of these guys are going to put on a bad match necessarily.
Yeah, it was a fast-paced match.
It was just a bit awkward.
They kept the action going.
Yeah.
Taz came out. That was cool.
That was cool. That's right. Yeah, Taz came out and gave a T-bone Tazplex to Regal while the ref was distracted. Raven came in, gave him the Raven effect, but we know it as the even flow DDT. Picked up the win over Regal.
Yes.
So it was cool to see Taz.
Yeah.
Let's see here. Was it Vince trying to give Kane, Undertaker, and Sarah Taker
motivational talk?
Talk.
And he got
Kane, remember what happened to you, Kane?
Yeah,
they beat you up.
He got the Undertaker really fired up.
Yeah. Undertaker like tried to choke him out, right?
Yeah.
Don't you tell me what to do.
Yeah.
This is my yard. I've got a T-shirt that says my yard.
As much, yes.
My yard, big evil. And then she's like, Mark, did you remember to pay the mortgage? Of course I did. Wait. Yes, sir, I did.
It's not on auto pay.
This is 2001. We don't have automatic bill pay. Anyways, Vince was not.
He was pleased with himself after firing up
Yeah.
Kane and Undertaker.
I imagine a good 70% of Vince's day involves being pleased with himself. Next up we had... Wait, what was the next up? Yeah, okay. Well... What do you think of Big Show? He looks like I remembered him.
Yeah.
He had the short hair goatee combo.
Yeah.
Because,
I don't remember the one Billy Gunn. I don't remember that gimmick at all.
Okay, here's the thing. I don't remember him and Big Show ever being any sort of team. However, I do kind of remember him being referred to as the one now that you mention it. It was post-Ass. They were trying to get away from Ass thing.
Because he won King of the Ring 99, so 2 years before this.
Yeah.
And then, from 2000 2001, he was the one Billy Gunn.
So did he team with Big Show?
I don't think so. They made a point during this match to just say that it was kind of an... After 2001 King of the Ring, he turned face and formed a short-lived tag team.
That was weird.
Called the Shoguns.
That's horrible. What a terrible name. Wish you hadn't told me that. That's terrible. Wow.
And they quietly disbanded soon after Invasion.
His Billy and Chuck thing was actually pretty entertaining. I'll be honest, I haven't seen it since it originally aired. But I don't think they were being like overtly offensive with it or homophobic. I thought they were being kind of cool with it.
I don't remember at all.
They had like the wedding that they sort of ended up trolling everybody with it. But I don't think... I don't know. I'm not going to speak on it because it's been forever since I saw it. Chances are, as WWF, they're probably being horribly offensive. I have no idea. Anyways, the one Billy Gunn. I think eventually he went back to being the Ass Man.
They still referred to the Famouser as a Famouser during the match.
That's still one of my favorite moves.
It's a good move.
I freaking love the Famouser. Well, so Albert... Who is this against? Albert and who?
It was Big Show, the one Billy Gunn, and Albert against Sean Stasiak, Chris Kanyon, and Hugh Morris.
These days, all I think of when I think of Hugh Morris is the fact that he hazed the crap out of people and they got fired. That's all I know. That's all. I mean, I never really got the Hugh Morris thing.
It was not a good gimmick.
No, it wasn't. I don't even get what it was supposed to be the point of it. He laughs a lot.
I think it's supposed to be kind of like a Riddler thing.
That's even worse than what I said.
Because in WCW, his tights used to have, I think, question marks all over it.
Did he issue riddle challenges to people?
Not that I recall.
Riddle me this, Batman. Chris Kanyon was great.
Yeah, Kanyon was great.
He was always great. What are you looking up? Hugh Morris?
Yeah, I want to make sure I get his tights right.
They weren't just like they were question marks?
I thought so.
I thought they were like smiling faces.
I mean, that's what it was.
What was that?
That was Billy Kidman with the video camera. Oh, I guess he didn't have question marks over. Oh, that's what it was. He had the I don't know what they're called.
The theater masks?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, there you go.
That's what I was thinking of. Sorry, it wasn't question marks.
Well, yeah, what a weirdo. Anyways.
That's what it was. Anyway, sorry. Yeah.
I got everything I ever wanted.
It was a short match.
Who did they fight? Oh, yeah, Kanyon LM. Okay. At this point, I was just really like, man, they really did scrape the bottom of the barrel from WCW here. I love Kanyon, but I'm like, Stasiak, just another face in the crowd. Hugh Morris, man, he was like curtain jerking for Saturday Night. Mm-hmm. His name was General Erection at one point, but that was dumb.
It was dumb. But he won this match, pinning Billy Gunn after a reverse DDT from Sean Stasiak.
Wasn't that kind of a little bit of shady thing though? Because nobody cared. Like within the first 8 bars of their song hitting, like there were 2 choke slams doled out from.
Massive choke slams!
Huge choke slams. Big Show choke slammed the crap out of, I think,
Stasiak especially.
Yeah,
he held Stasiak up there for a good 10-15 seconds and then just threw him down.
He destroyed people.
Yeah, he did. Those looked like they hurt.
There was a backstage segment with Booker T, who I guess was both WCW World Champion and U.S. Champion.
Yeah.
I'm trying to remember the last episode of Nitro. He fought Steiner, I think.
That sounds right.
Was that for the World Championship?
Sounds right.
But then how did he get the U.S. Championship?
I think he already had it.
He already had it.
Yeah.
Wow.
The main event of the last Nitro was Sting versus Flair.
Yeah. That's right. Boy, they booked that right. Sting was wearing a shirt, I think, that night, too, if I'm not mistaken. Flair was. Yeah, you're right. Flair was.
Carry on.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry. Anyways, so Shane McMahon was hyping up Booker T. Shane McMahon, it's funny watching this. Like, I remember what he sounded like before he sounded like he had perpetual cold.
Oh, yeah.
Because these days he always sounds like he has a cold.
Booker T won the U.S. title from Rick Steiner at the Greed pay-per-view.
Oh, okay. And then did he win the world championship off of Steiner on that last Nitro? Was that a thing that happened? On the final episode of... Yeah, there you go. Final episode of Nitro. There it is. He won the world title for the 4th time. So there you go. Nice. Good job, Booker T. They knew, WWF knew. They were like, look, you're our guy.
There was a segment later on where before the main event where Heyman was given like a pep talk.
Yeah.
And like Booker T would punctuate a lot of Heyman's sentences by saying the last word in it, and I thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because so much of this stuff was, especially like the Alliance backstage segments, were so serious.
Yeah.
That it was nice that he brought a little levity to it.
Yeah.
Which is Booker T's great. He's one of my favorites.
Oh yeah,
I love Booker T.
Absolutely, yeah.
Next, we had Tajiri was in William Regal's office.
Yeah.
And he seemingly just found out about his match with Taz right then and there.
Yes.
So that was next. Taz
Regal,
versus Tajiri.
If anybody, we saw a lot of motivational speaking.
Yes.
Regal was by far my favorite. He was getting Tajiri all hyped up, ready to go.
Yeah.
And Tajiri was head full of steam, ready to go.
Ready to go.
Who did he fight?
Taz.
Oh, that's right.
And he beat him.
Yeah, what was the deal with Taz's outfit? He was wearing slacks.
No, they weren't slacks. They were like workout pants.
They look like slacks.
No, they weren't slacks.
They
looked like gym pants.
Yeah, dude, he had.
You thought they were slacks because he had a button-up shirt with no sleeves, and
why would anybody wear workout pants with a button-up shirt with
they're more
no
comfortable.
sleeves? Well, I would. I'm just saying, like, it looked like they matched. They were matching colors,
but the fabric was different.
The fabric was the same.
No, it wasn't.
They were slacks.
He was wearing.
They were slacks.
Workout pants.
Work slacks. Yeah. Why didn't he wear a singlet?
I don't know.
Kind of weird.
He did when he debuted.
I know. Weird. Was he dealing with like injury issues at this point? Did they think his time was limited?
They were talking about him doing commentary at this point.
Oh, no kidding.
So he might have,
maybe this was like kind of a short deal for him.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
He was just like, hey, I'm an ECW original,
so I'll jump aboard at the start and then bow out and go back to commentary because he was dealing with neck issues or something like that, right? That's why he had to.
Yeah. Oof, yeah. All that time in ECW.
Yeah. So Tajiri wins with a kick to Taz's head after giving him the green mist.
Green mist, yeah. This is a fun match. I seem to recall.
Yeah.
Then we had the bra and panties match.
No. You skipped a lot.
Then? Really?
Next was the Hardy Boys backstage talking, and then RVD runs in with a chair.
Oh, because you know why? I didn't write any notes because I loved it.
Yeah.
This is fantastic.
This is the best part, probably the best part of the whole show.
Matt Hardy was like, oh, yeah, it's wonderful.
It wasn't broken, Matt Hardy.
Yes, we will take on Jeff Hardy. Yes.
Said, we will delete the alliance.
Delete the alliance, exactly.
WCW was obsolete.
This was great, though, because, they're chatting. And then out of nowhere, RVD comes running around the hallway.
With a chair.
Delivers a stiff shot to Matt Hardy. And then says something like, I don't know. What did he say? Oh, he said, "You're next, Jeff." And then ran away. And Jeff was like, duh. And goes to check on Matt.
Yeah.
He didn't run after RVD.
No, he's checking on his brother.
Well, you know what?
Yeah.
He wants to get some revenge. Go run after RVD with
Well,
the chair.
they had their match next. He knew that.
Well, that's true.
It was a great match.
This was the match of the night by far. This was a true dream matchup. Jeff Hardy, RVD. And this again illustrates why the heel face dynamic really didn't work because the crowd popped for RVD.
Oh, yeah.
Everybody, like I said, there were certain people that everybody knew, ooh, this guy is good. And RVD was that guy, man. Oh my gosh.
He was a stud.
He was a stud, man. An absolute stud. This
it's
match
kind of
was great. It was all over the place.
It was. It was great that it started out in the ring and the commentary team.
This
made
felt
a
like
point
a PWG match.
It was for the hardcore title, and the first 3 or so minutes or 5 minutes of the match, and the commentary team made a point of saying this, was all took place in the ring, and they're saying, well, this is a hardcore match. This is unusual for a hardcore match. Mm-hmm. And then they go to the outside, the ringside area, And then they start making the way on the outside and then up the ramp, and then that great spot at the top of the ramp, and then ends back in the ring.
Yeah.
It's a great match.
No, it was really fantastic. Jeff Hardy attempted a swanton bomb. RVD rolled out of the way, took the Hardcore Championship, put it on Jeff Hardy's chest, went up, delivered his frog splash, his five-star
frog splash,
and picked up the win and the Hardcore title, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So this was a hell of a match.
It's a bummer they waited, 4 or 5 years to get the world title on RVD.
Yeah.
So I think during the storyline, he was in a match for one of the world titles. I don't remember which one it was, but they never really put it on him until that one night stand show.
Yeah, that's right. But you know what? What an effective way to do it.
Oh, I know.
What a really effective way to do it.
He was a tag champion and an IC champion in between, so it's not like he was just, like milling about in the mid card, not really doing anything.
Yeah.
He was getting opportunity, but
yeah.
I mean, even this, he was enormously over, enormously.
Yeah, big time.
After that, we had Vince and Kurt Angle backstage.
Oh yeah, this is where Kurt Angle said BS.
Yeah.
What'd you think of Kurt Angle cursing here?
I mean, it's Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
Kurt Angle's good.
Even when he's saying curse words.
Yeah.
It's kind of out of nowhere though, right?
No, because I think he'll like even still today he'll say something like kick their ass.
Oh yeah, that's different though. It's just it's always shocking to me when like a WWF pay-per-view will like drop a curse word. That's weird. Doesn't happen very often.
Doesn't happen anymore.
WCW tried to do it a couple times in the Vince Russo days.
Yeah,
they did it.
I know.
Like I heard Goldberg say F.
Yeah, I know.
To Vince Russo straight up. Yeah. No, it was cool. It was good. Kurt Angle's great.
Kurt Angle is great. Next, Braun Panties match.
I mean, we got to see some booties. That was cool. But I mean, my thing was this. Like, so Lita and Trish Stratus went over. They declothed. Tori Wilson and Stacey Keibler disrobed.
We're having a hard time with the English language the last couple of days.
Whatever. And as they're making their way up the ramp, they're all giving each other high fives. I'm just thinking to myself, they're probably just thinking to themselves, well, this is doing wonders for women's wrestling today,
I know.
Isn't it?
Did you notice when they were walking up the ramp, they were walking backpedaling, walking backwards, and that Lita got right to the edge where that hole in the middle of the stage was, and she almost fell into it.
What is with Lita trying to break her neck all the time? Eventually, she did it. Man, careful, Lita.
Yes.
Yeah. So that was a load of crap, but that's what they did back then. Braun panty matches, whatever.
Next, the pep talk Heyman was given the entire team alliance before the main event.
Yes.
It was effective. Heyman's great. He's a great talker. Booker T was great.
Yeah. I feel like this probably had like his normal motivational speeches probably had a lot of F-bombs in them.
Probably.
I just get that feeling. I wish that they would have done they went so far, they went PG-13 with Kurt Angle saying BS. They should have just let Heyman. This is a pay-per-view. They can do what they want.
You can say one F word in a PG-13 film, yes?
Yeah.
But 2 is an R, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
Yeah. Have him drop one well-placed F. What next?
Next, Stone Cold and Deborah in Vince's office / green room. And Vince was trying to motivate Stone Cold, and Stone Cold was like, Yeah. You don't need to motivate me.
I feel like this probably shouldn't have been while sitting on a couch. That mitigates drama, sitting on a couch.
It definitely lessens the intensity of the situation.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't stop thinking about the fact that they're just on a couch.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I did appreciate the fact that they had a video package before this main event to get me caught to speed on the lead up to this, where Stone Cold was doing
the many faces of Stone Cold.
Where Stone Cold was doing the kind of the goofier heel stuff with Kurt Angle.
Yeah.
And then Vince says to him, "We need you, Stone Cold. We need the old Stone Cold back."
I don't want that Stone Cold. I want the old Stone Cold.
And he kind of took his belt and ran home.
Yeah.
That was pretty funny. I remember some of that stuff.
Yeah, I remember some of that stuff. Then he goes to the bar and he drinks. Yeah, that was okay. What happened next?
Main event.
Yeah, Shane came out. I like this. He was wearing 2 shades of black. Actually, 3 counting his shoes. He had like the shirt and then the darker pants and then shoes that were like black leather. Yeah. Or whatever they are. That was weird. I like at one point, JR, when Paul Heyman came out to that amazing ECW intro theme. It was so good. JR says, "That Heyman is such a bovine, isn't he?" What the heck, JR? Why are you fat shaming people?
Yeah, I don't get that
it's
either.
It's not like he was a friggin' Adonis.
No.
He wasn't a Lex Luger. Where's Lex Luger? WCW Invasion. Where's Lex Luger?
Mall of America.
He likes to hang out at the Mall of America. Oh, man. Let's see here. Oh, yeah. Limp Bizkit. Heck yeah. No, come on. Rolling. It's wrestling. You're allowed to like crap music in wrestling. This was good.
Limp Bizkit's taking it too far.
Didn't get you hyped up?
No.
For Taker, really?
No.
Here's my thing.
Here's the thing. No, I want to finish this thought before you talk. Here's the thing. WrestleMania, which one was in Seattle? Was that 17?
19.
Okay. When they had that, I swear, 2-mile fucking path, to get from the stage to the ring.
Yeah.
And Limp Bizkit's up there playing, and The Undertaker has to ride his motorcycle at a maximum of 7 miles an hour. It felt like slower than walking speed.
It was, I know.
To navigate from the ramp to the ring. It took 20 minutes. I felt like it was the worst Limp Bizkit remix because it was 20 minutes long and I hear the whole thing of them going rolling for way too long. No thank you.
That's great. I loved it. Jericho comes down, huge pop, massive rock star. Love Jericho. Odd to me, I thought about this during the thing because DDP was out there, and Taker immediately went up to run DDP for a good storyline reason.
Yeah.
Apparently Taker was not a DDP fan. Like DDP.
Personally?
Yeah. Like when I don't know about necessarily personally, but I know business-wise, like DDP was like, yeah, Undertaker. Like when they had DDP come in and do the stalker angle, which was crap.
Yeah, it was not good.
Undertaker was not into the entire thing. And he was not like really willing to work that well with DDP. That's why DDP's matches with Takers were so underwhelming. That's according to DDP.
That's interesting.
I
mean, if I could understand why the Undertaker would have a problem with the angle.
I would think he'd take that up with Vince.
Exactly.
Like work with DDP. Say, okay, how can we do this page so that it works and I'm happy with it? Well, let me tell you something.
Well, I mean, I don't know if it's necessarily just the beats of the story or if it's just the premise itself.
Yeah. I just remember this was an incredibly one-sided, like, feud. Like,
oh, yeah.
There was no, like, if Taker was standing strong at the last Raw before the pay-per-view, Taker was still going to win.
He would win in a squash match.
Exactly.
Is what you're saying.
Dude, I literally think they had Sarah beat DDP in a match. I don't know if it was straight up.
That sounds right.
But I think it was kind of close. Oh, man. This is one thing that so Stone Cold comes out to his Disturbed theme song and starts laying into the Alliance. This is one thing that maybe you can shed some light on this.
Oh, I think I know what you're going to ask, and I don't have the answer for you.
If you're going to swerve your teammate, your tag team member, or your faction at the end of a match, why is it you're beating on them for the first 20 minutes of the match? Like, I get that that's part of the swerve, but like attack when they're most vulnerable in storyline, in kayfabe, in the universe.
It doesn't make any sense.
Are they pulling their punches? Is there
know.
a plan in advance? Say, Rhino, I'm going to throw you into the steel steps. Act like I'm doing it really hard. Like try to do a good sell job. Like I don't get like you're beating up on them.
I know.
And then you beat up on the other people.
Like you have to go to your new alliance.
Yeah.
In advance of the match, say, okay, I'm gonna have to do this. I'm gonna have to beat you guys up, but it's all for me to eventually swerve my team and join you. Is that okay? Essentially.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah.
So I guess if you're looking at it, on a macro level, you can take a couple lumps.
Yeah, right.
Stone Cold on your team.
Take them for the team. Yeah, exactly. But at the same time, you're taking Stone Cold lumps.
It doesn't make any sense.
It makes no sense.
You risk taking a stunner.
Well, you risk losing. Like you risk losing the match. It's like
also in the weeks leading up to this, he was doling out stunners to everybody.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, throughout his entire career, he was doling out stunners.
But specifically to the people that he would be joining. I mean, they booked the stunner as one of the most devastating moves in wrestling.
Oh, my God. It was like a leg drop, man. Yeah, it was huge. This is great, too. So it was a fun match.
Oh, yeah. It was long, but never felt boring.
Yeah. It was a lot of fun. A lot of great spots. It was like a Kane choke slamming Devon Dudley through the table.
Oh, yeah. The last third of it just descended into chaos.
Yeah, it was just like Jericho came running off the apron and like didn't spear, but he like sort of
Yeah,
knocked Rhino through a table.
And then Little Nate got involved.
Yeah.
And the Undertaker gave him a last ride.
Oh my God, yeah. Jeez. So then Austin. So the end sequence had Kurt Angle putting Booker T
In the ankle lock.
in the ankle lock. The ref was distracted.
No, he was took a bump, was on the outside of the ring.
Right, okay.
Stone Cold drags him back in the ring. Kind of right as the ref's about to come to, Stone Cold breaks up the ankle lock, stuns Angle, puts Booker T on him.
Yeah.
Right as the ref was coming to
Yeah.
then, and the ref was like arguing with Stone Cold for a little bit.
He's
and
like,
then
"Why are you
finally
doing this?"
Finished, then called the
Yeah.
pinfall.
Yeah, exactly. And then there's a great shot of a guy in the crowd who has a sign that says Austin 316 says Stone Cold just sold out. And he had the biggest validating smile on his
He
face.
called that swerve, huh?
He called that swerve like a pro. Bro.
Good for him.
Yeah.
Good job.
So well done, sign holder guy.
Yes.
He was like, I'm doing this sign. His friends are like, what? Sold out? What are you talking about?
Or did he bring a marker with him and just do it right there on the spot?
Spelled sold wrong. Well done.
Well done.
Either way to be prepared.
Yes.
So yeah, I mean, again, kind of entertaining show.
Yeah.
Like there were entertaining bits here.
Yeah.
Look, I'm never gonna say no to Jeff Hardy versus RVD.
No, that was a great match. The main event was good. The opening tag match was good. There was some other decent matches. Sure, the ref
Kidman
match.
versus X-Pac.
Yeah, the ref match, not good.
There are some matches
Braun
in here.
Penny match, not good.
Yeah,
but,
there are some matches in here I would have seen, but let's do this real quick.
and at least by and large, the matches that weren't good or interesting were short.
So, if we had the powers of Mecha Santa,
Or top notch.
well, Mecha Santa's proven what he can do.
Hold on.
What?
Did you not watch Fun Wrestling?
Oh yeah, he can bend space and time. Okay, so let's say we have the power of a deity, of one of the seven,
Or at least just a
deities.
time traveler.
What would be our dream matches? Now, I'd say first off, Rock Hogan, because we saw that play out and it played out amazing.
Yeah. During this, The Rock was shooting Scorpion King, I believe, during
We're bending space
Invasion.
and time.
Oh, so we were also postponing everything, so everybody's under contract.
Everybody's available. Everybody's available. I'm going to say this. I'm going to throw this out there. Hall and Nash versus the APA.
Okay.
I think that's good.
That's good. I assume we're not going to have a Survivor Series-esque 10-person tag match.
No,
main event.
God, no way. Taker Sting.
Yeah.
That should have happened.
Who is Booker T going to face? Booker T, Stone Cold?
Booker
Champ
T
versus champ?
versus, well, yeah. I'm going to say this. I'm going to say Booker T versus Kurt Angle. I think Stone Cold should be against a big name. I would say this. Oh, God. Are you kidding me? Stone Cold versus Goldberg.
Oh, yeah.
There you go. Who does Flair fight?
Well, if he weren't hurt, Triple H.
All right. Well, he's on the table. Everybody's on the table. Flair versus Triple H. That's good. I like that. I was going to say Flair versus Vince.
I thought that, too.
Yeah.
I was just trying to think of kind of like the WWF institution.
Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. Who would, if Steiner was there, who would Steiner face? Was Rick Steiner there at the end of WCW?
I think so.
Steiner versus... Man, you know what? Actually, if Steiner didn't have a busted foot, God, if he wasn't so bulky, Steiner versus Kurt Angle could have been a good match too.
Mm-hmm. They were both amateur wrestlers.
All right, let's say Steiner versus Kurt Angle, but let's say so. Then we need a Booker T opponent. Booker T versus, and we're just doing WWF versus ECW or versus WCW. Booker T versus. You know what we could add Booker T?
What?
Booker T versus Kane. Booker T versus Kane. Give me something else. You got some, what about this? Booker T versus Jericho.
Okay.
Booker T versus Jericho is perfect. Those guys would be super entertaining. They ever,
Oh, yeah.
Did they ever program together?
I don't know.
Booker T versus Jericho. Had to have been. They were both, yeah. What was this? 2002.
Okay.
Some point in 2002.
So shortly after all this.
Yeah.
What about the Hardys were over.
Ooh,
They were
okay.
very over.
I would put the Hardys in there with like some of the younger dudes like Stasiak and Palumbo or
O'Hare and Palumbo.
O'Hare and Palumbo or whatever. I mean, I guess you can't. Or the Hardys. I mean, I like the Edge and Christian versus.
We'll do Edge versus Lance Storm.
Edge versus Lance Storm.
I know you said Jericho earlier, but
I want. Oh, hold on. Rey Mysterio versus whom?
Jeff Hardy.
Jeff. Oh, perfect. Jeff Hardy.
Who is Jeff Jarrett going to wrestle?
Oh, okay. There we go. Jeff Jarrett versus a pile of trash. Who cares? That's count out. No, that's not count out.
No,
That's,
it's not count out.
That's
This
going
is
in raw view.
Unnamed pay-per-view review show.
I kind of like going in raw view.
That's good.
That's terrible.
No, it's good.
Yeah. Anyways, this is a good lineup right here.
Yeah, it's a good card. 10 matches, including Jeff Jarrett versus a pile of trash. Who cares? Who's David Arquette going to wrestle?
David Arquette versus Dangerous Man in Alley with Gun. Oh,
You can have Vince Russo on the card?
Vince Russo versus my butthole ripped. Bro.
Thanks for joining us, everybody.
We'll talk to you later.
Bye.